Hey everyone, welcome to Zealots. I'm Forrest.
I'm Major.
Matt.
I'm Robbie.
Matt Robbie.
That almost sounds like we planned it. That was good.
Whoever's going to do it first.
Hello.
My old friend, thanks for coming to listen to us again.
I was doing Three Stooges, not having a Garfunkel play.
Oh.
That was good, though. So today we're going to talk about, I think everyone here at least watched Jupiter's Legacy.
Except Major.
And we're also going to talk about...
I would rather watch... I saw the trailer. You maybe watched the trailer like last week or whatever, 2 weeks ago, and we talked about it on the podcast. But I would rather watch Doge all night than what looked like that garbage from Jupiter's Legacy. So I'm excited to hear about this.
I think most of those scenes were from the first episode, which was not that great. I think most of us can agree on that. I think it's more nuts. I mean, this is a Netflix show. So, I mean, like they have a finite budget for superheroics.
Do they?
They can show.
And overall, I'm liking the plot that's going with it, but yeah, it just feels like the effects and stuff.
It's really sad that
delivery and acting is just not
well. The first episode,
great.
I think the acting. I think the guy who wrote the first episode wasn't that great, or at least it was just sort of hokey. I felt, but I think the second and subsequent episodes are a lot better handled. I think they're a little bit more not as hokey.
Happened?
And
like,
it's a lot.
I kind of get the feeling like Robbie didn't like the visuals because, like, Rob's talking on the podcast before. He loves CGI, and I get it. Like, nothing takes me out of a fight scene faster than like claymation, basically. Like,
it's really sad that the best parts of the superhero show are the flashbacks where they're not superheroes.
Yeah. Right? Like, isn't that the worst? Like when a story like hints at something else, you're like, I'd much rather watch that story.
Because basically, there's two different stories going on in this show. There's the main story going on in the present with the superheroes, and there's the flashback story showing how they all got their powers. That's going on throughout.
All right, so which one do you want to start with? Fill me in. And Matt should pick which one.
I think he
read the comic books. He could probably explain it better.
We should address first the worst part of the episode, which is the final battle scene.
Yeah,
which looked like it was fought in a factory full of green screen, and they ran out of the budget for
obviously hanging there on wires.
Yes,
with a green screen behind them, just barely moving, with just like the camera rotating around them.
Wow, that sounds like trash.
It was that bad, and it was just.
And then every hit, like you can't feel the power behind any of their hits. Like you can obviously tell they're pulling all their punches. They're coming in with a punch like so slowly, and then they do, instead of like showing you a good impact, they cut it off. They cut off to another viewpoint before it hits. So they're like, yeah, they hit him right there and did this and this. So you just don't feel any of the impact.
But man, they are bruised for the next couple episodes though. Like there's these gigantic bruises on their face. So at least they were like realistic in that fashion. But yeah, I don't think the Black Star, which is like supposed to be like the big money shot of the whole episode.
Yeah, and that's where I thought it was the worst.
Yep.
I think the superhero battles in this show are definitely like the weakest point, which is sort of sad because it's sort of like the main draw for these sort of.
Let me ask you guys a question.
Well,
go ahead.
Have you guys been spoiled by Invincible?
Partially,
no.
Yeah.
Well,
not really.
Well, Matt,
okay. So don't say too much. Because I kind of want to.
No, not spoiling Invincible. Have you been spoiled by Invincible? Like, was Invincible
looked it up?
Well, I think this is more comparable to The Boys because this whole show was like Netflix to The Boys.
It's
like
trying to
spoil the plot, spoiled by how good it was.
Yeah, we're spoiled children now.
Because that was just
the show is so good.
Well, it's funny too because the first fight scene with the evil girl there trying to rob the truck, like the humor was so forced, and you can see that they're trying to go for this very boys like it's all a joke, and then they get serious again, and it's just like all over the place, like they're trying so hard sometimes.
It doesn't know what it wants to be.
It's not, and I think like the sex scenes too are really inorganic. Like the first two episodes, there's like no sex. The third episode. Like third episode, a girl's getting eaten out like randomly. I was like, oh, okay.
What? I've only watched the first 2 episodes, and they didn't have that in it.
I was like, oh, okay, I guess they are doing sex in the show. It was just kind of weird because like, the first episode was just like it's kind of like there was like a guy got his face punched, but besides that's like pretty wholesome. And like third episode, like, oh, she's going down on her. Okay,
yeah.
I mean, it's only like a few seconds.
That's not even how you do it. Like you're supposed to start the show with nudity and sex to keep viewers, like to draw viewers.
Show them like this is the type of show that we're going to be, not just Game like okay, we're losing them. Let's throw a little this in there.
Exactly. That's why Game of Thrones was so popular.
I'm pretty sure. What's his name? who's the guy from Jack Quaid in The Boys? What's his real name? Huey. I think his girlfriend's in this show. She's like another superhero, or supervillain, whatever. I was like, oh, okay.
Like a blood stain on the wall. And you think that's her?
Well, I think she's like not dead in this yet. So
Yeah.
but she's only like in the third episode, and I think I've only seen her in that one. But
so the fighting sucks. How's the plot, Matt?
Well, I
do
will say
like the
this.
plot though.
The comics are more about the relationships that they have with each other, and the kind of like battle scenes are kind of secondary. It's kind of about like their relationships with their kids, their relationship with their former team because it broke up. And that's more the focus. And I can kind of see Netflix was kind of going in that direction, but it just
Like they tried.
It just doesn't come out. The plot is great. They stay true several times to like, it's like shot for shot in the comics that they're doing.
Okay.
But
That's
what kills it, especially that dinner scene, is I don't know if it's just the first episode. None of the actors emote. None of them like actually act, and it's all just phoned in. I mean, I wanted to rage quit during the dinner scene when they're confronting the sister, and she's just like,
yeah, she's definitely a new. I don't think she's a very experienced actress,
No.
and I think she's like looks like she's 15 too.
yeah.
So it's like she's supposed to come off as like this sexy model, but she looks like a kid, you
Yeah.
know.
And they don't even show like
and
what
I know
the photo
supposed to be-
scenes they're
I know
referring
she's
to
supposed
unless
to
they
be a
do it later.
shithead, but I don't know.
It was
So who are these people? First off,
Well, I guess we should just go over the main plot. So basically, it's like the
Yeah.
superhero team called the Union, and the main superhero like guy, played by Josh Duhamel, the Utopian, who looks like God, because he has like the long gray hair and the gray beard.
so he looks
Basically,
like the Judeo-Christian God.
yes, basically, I think that's what Mark Millar was going for. So basically, like his team, he has two kids. One's like a good son who's sort of trying to follow in his footsteps. The other one's like a rebellious daughter, and he has like a brother.
Star Wars.
Yeah, he has a brother and a wife who are all superheroes. And basically, like I said, there's two main plots to this show where there's like the main present plot with like dealing with their kids. And there's like a conspiracy, or not conspiracy, but like a mystery of like, spoiler, they kill Black Star in the first episode, but he's still alive in the present. So they think there's like a Black Star from the past that came there, or a clone, or a Black Star from a different dimension. So there's two Black Stars, one's dead.
Yeah,
So
because they do point out that like that Black Star never said anything. He just kind of yelled.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're wondering like, was that like some made up clone of Black Star to see what they would do?
Yeah.
Or...
So that's going on. Plus, I think a Paragon killed Black Star, so there's some fallout from that. Even though, what else could he have done?
Well, and
So
look at the steel business they got going in the 20s when they were younger.
That's the second plot. So that's the one that's actually more interesting because
Yeah,
it's
I
basically
like
going
that side
over.
of it.
It's basically going over how the Union got its powers, and I think where I'm at now, they're like, they're not even on the island yet.
They
They're on
haven't
the island,
explained. They haven't explained how he got his powers yet.
Yeah, I thought they were like
Yeah.
explaining like the first episode. I didn't realize the flashbacks were going to be so extensive, but they're basically like half the episode, like going forward.
Can I
In
just
some
say
cases,
to that scene, the flashback on top of the building
Mhm.
was another bad scene where like what's coming, and it's like
yeah,
no, oh man.
Like when it first cut to that, I was like, "Yep, he's gonna jump." Like,
Yeah.
I was just like,
so obvious the way they said it.
I was just like, he's so close. There's no way he's gonna let him jump. And then he was like, "All right, I'll meet you downstairs." Like, oh shit.
yeah. And he turns around. He's like,
I'm just like, you
really?
idiots.
Are you not suspicious at all?
You don't think anyone like?
So
you know, like,
basically, the stock market's crashing. His dad is basically thinking like, "Well, this is it for me now."
well, you find out later that his dad was like embezzling money. So I
Yeah,
guess that was
he's
sort of-
taking the pensions for his own
Ew.
gain or something like that.
Yeah, so his dad.
And
was
this is
kinda
like in
stupid.
the 20s and like
The Roaring =20s, and then into the Great Depression with the
Well, it's the Great
collapse.
yeah,
Depression
and
start-
and how it looks like is one of the brothers sees his dad in a good light, and he didn't know any of this. He's the what's his name? He's the father of the family. Who's the main
Sheldon.
characters? Yeah, where his
Like,
brother was apparently more part of the business, and he ran the numbers and noticed all this, and he's trying to tell him like things are changing. But
So his brain. Yeah, go ahead.
but he doesn't want to believe any of it until it's like, check the numbers again. There's got to be something wrong. Like he would never do this. But
Well, his wife in the present was apparently the reporter that exposed his dad's embezzlement. So that's how they met.
That
because
sounds interesting.
He was going to sue her for
Yeah.
slander
I
or
think
libel.
I think you'd really like that side of the plot too, Major.
Yeah, and I think
I'm really looking forward to it.
The acting, and the way they set up the scenes just takes away from
So
everything.
I need to be drunk.
And
I
the
just need to be
first
drunk watching
Well, I
this.
think-
You saw what I was drinking last night.
Yeah.
I think Josh.
Anymore. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't enough.
Wasn't.
So you don't. I don't know. I thought Josh Duhamel and Leslie Bibb and the guy who plays the brother are pretty good. You know, I think it's just the younger actors that Matt great. I mean, the son's okay. But
I
I
mean,
think
that's
the
not-
the sister or the daughter is like the worst one.
If they're not good actors, just don't hire them.
Well, they want someone young, and you know they don't really care if their experience. They just need someone that looks good.
It's Netflix. It's bottom of the barrel.
Well,
It's not premium TV.
You touch upon another point too, because I feel what happened with this is that Netflix gave somebody this comic book and said make it into a TV show, and he didn't really read the comic book. He's just like, well, I've done superhero shows before. I'm going to make a superhero show with this. And even if you watch the opening credits are almost exactly like the Daredevil opening credits.
Yeah.
Almost, it's so eerily similar, and it's so polished. It's so lit a certain way that it takes away from like the grittiness of an independent comic. You know what I mean? This is supposed to be a gritty comic, and it's like, no, it's this big production. I think that's also kind of the mindset I'm going into this. It's like a pop. I think I said it's like a pop cover of a metal song.
Yeah, I think
what made me what I thought was kind of funny it was like one of the first lines at the beginning of it, and he was like, "With great power comes great responsibility."
Yep.
Or like or his son finished them with great responsibility. He was like, "No,
we're gonna get sued." Don't say that.
But that just kind of made me laugh. And it was right at the beginning too.
Spider-Man swings in. What did you say? Nothing. With great power comes great benefit.
And he was like, "No, great responsibility." He was like, "No. Well, yeah,
Do you want to get sued?
That's not our line."
Yes, I mean, I think the lead. What do you think of Josh Duhamel in the lead so far? I think he's doing a pretty good job. Carrying the show. But it is sort of strange. Like most of his screen time is like flashbacks. You don't really get to see, from at least what I've seen, not a whole lot of him as the Utopian.
I only fault him in the scene on top of the tower because, you know, when he goes, no, like I couldn't help but cracking up. But everything else, like, came off really well.
Yeah, I think, you know, we all knew that, you know, it had to happen because, you know, every superhero has to have a parent die.
Yep.
Or a father figure die. Like Uncle Ben, or like Spider-Man, Batman, Superman.
And so is the long, shaggy, like just got out of bed hair just like his thing, or is he kind of like just falling apart?
Well, it's like they talk about in the 5th episode, like he's talking to a psychiatrist and he's like, you know, you have like sort of like a God complex. You know, you see the world in black and white and it's like really just shades of gray.
Yeah, because he seemed more cleaner cut until later, and then he looks like he just doesn't care anymore, and he let himself go.
In the comics, he gets burnt out because he feels like he's doing all this work, and society's still like, you know, plunging into, you know, the abyss. So he just starts getting really burnt out, and that's why he starts leaning on the kid. You know,
so I was wondering if that's just kind of his character, or if that's like a mix of his life and his character.
As a side note too, the scene in which they're at their old base at the table and they pull up a hologram of their former team and what they look like.
That made me wonder, is that their technology level? Like, where did that hologram come from?
But like, why have a hologram of what you look like over your table? Like, what's the point of that? I know
it seems like that room is basically a museum for them now. It doesn't sound like they use it much.
They probably have tours like every day. The Smithsonian.
Like, there's a better way to get exposition out instead of being like, oh, hey, let's pull up a picture of us in holograms.
Would you prefer like a Wonder Woman kind of story?
God,
plot?
Nope.
No.
I mentioned Wonder Woman.
Well, I think it was sort of similar to me. That didn't really bother me too much, Matt. I think because it was sort of similar to like Winter Soldier, where they're going through the museum, and you see all the Captain America paraphernalia in the Smithsonian. That's sort of what I likened it to.
Yeah, I didn't mind.
I guess like the
done it a different way.
They want to make it seem, maybe they just wanted to like just do like a futuristic version of that.
It's just an exposition dump.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, and I guess it sort of teased Skyfox, who I think is going to be like that main villain or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Which I haven't seen him yet in the show, but you know.
So,
but this was based. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if I have 8 hours to live, Do I watch the first episode of Bad Batch, or
I
do I
think
watch
this
Jupiter
is-
Celebrity Legacy?
Bad Batch.
I don't know. Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess I can't speak for Bad Batch. I guess you have to have a love for Clone Wars, which I think everyone here does. I never really watched Clone Wars. I watched like
Oh, it's so good.
I watched
It's
the
so good,
2D.
buddy.
I watched the
It's
2D.
It's like
I
when
watched-
Order 66, when all that goes down, like
Yeah.
right from the first episode, but from their
Oh,
point of
okay.
view when it all goes down.
Yeah, I watched like the 2D cartoon of the Clone Wars, which I think was considered non-canon after they did the 3D version. But it was
Yes.
like basically going on. I think before it was
Samurai
between
Jack.
it was between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Is that sort of time period?
Yep.
So that was pretty good.
But yeah,
But I
it's
never
like
watched it.
like they're all clones, but different things happen to them that they've had
Makes them unique.
enhanced abilities. But that
Mhm.
also takes out. So all the clones have been basically programmed to follow orders where they haven't.
Spoiler
so
alert.
Well, they
for-
tell you this. They tell
yeah.
you this like in the first episode.
Well, I mean, no,
Oh.
everyone knew it from like 10 years ago when the
But yeah, that-
when the movie came out.
so it makes them question Order 66. Where
Are there any big cameos in the first episode?
Saw Gerrera.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. That's not big to me, but
Because you haven't watched. You get to see Saga grow up in the Clone Wars.
well, I guess. I've only seen him in like Rogue One, and wasn't he in the new the video game recently, the Jedi something Apprentice with
I think
Cal
so.
Kestis? Yeah, I think he was in that. So, but I just like, oh, he's like a recent addition to the whole Star Wars universe. So, like, I was thinking like Grand Moff Tarkin or Palpatine or Darth Vader.
Something
like
moving the
Boba Fett.
plot forward. Now they probably won't do that until like the last episode.
Well, it's like I just thought his arc, if you can call it that, in Rogue One was stupid. He's like, they go to the cave, they talk for a bit, and he's like, I'll stay here and hold them off. And like all he does is just like
Stand there.
let himself get killed. Yes, it's like wow, what a brave way to go out. That really helped. That really slowed them down.
Like, damn it, Disney, stop doing that. It never works.
Yeah, so it's
It
like
doesn't work
you know,
in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Didn't work in Rogue One.
not exactly. I don't know, a badass mentor we were hoping for, like Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon. So I guess like he was her mentor, whatever, right? In the movie Rogue One.
Ish. Yeah,
Yep.
kind
Yep.
of.
He was like basically just saved her as a baby, praised her,
Yeah.
and then like died needlessly, even though they had plenty of room on the ship.
Well, spoiler alert, they all die anyway. It doesn't matter.
That's
Um,
true, but he actually could have helped with get the plans on. So you know, they sort of like just barely made it right in the
Yeah.
movie, but that's like to add suspense or whatever. But I don't know. Yeah, Rogue One was well made, but I'm just like, who
Useless.
cares?
my
Like who
favorites.
cares?
I
know,
think it's amazing they
it's
spent $200 million
everyone's
for a
favorite-
plot hole.
It's everyone's favorite, new movie from Disney. I think, although I think like Force Awakens is more entertaining.
Well,
But
Major, I hate to break it to you. This whole series, Bad Batch, is to fix a plot hole
I knew it
in
was
Rise
coming.
of Skywalker.
Yeah, I knew it.
for First Order,
the backlash of the cloning of like
The
cloning
cloning
him,
and-
like Palpatine, like the backlash was so severe. I was like, Star Wars guys, chill out. Like it's so bad. Like
Well-
they're gonna come back later on and explain it. Like that's what they do. They're jumping ahead with all these movies, and then they have all these side projects. Like they literally made a $250 million movie
No,
to
no.
fix up a plot hole. Like they're gonna come out. With
Well,
these
the only
side-
They screwed up
reason-
so bad that they have to make this show now. They never planned on doing this. They have to make this show now to fix that plot hole.
well, the
Yeah.
reason Rise of Skywalker was like such shit was because Rian Johnson dropped the ball in Last Jedi by not explaining who
agree.
the hell Snoke was.
and then just killing them.
Yeah, and just killing him without any explanation of who he is, where he comes from, what his relationship to the dark side is, where was he during like the
None of that
first
matters.
of the original movies, yeah. So
Why
or
wouldn't you?
even the prequel.
I'm going to deconstruct Star Wars. No, deconstruct your characters, dumbass. Like,
Yeah. Well, the thing was like Rian Johnson was like bragging online before the movie came out. I was like your Snoke theories suck, and I was just like after the movie came, I was like, well, at least we had some. You
right?
apparently were
Boom,
just like,
got him.
So, but yeah,
Put that
I
on
don't
a
know.
t-shirt. I'll wear it.
Hopefully
hate-
he doesn't
I hate
get this
Vader
trilogy.
movie.
Yeah. So, I'll concede. I thought like he actually made the Red Imperial Guards do something, in Last Jedi. So I'll give him that. That was kind of cool. That scene.
That was
But,
cool.
Even though one of the batons disappears.
They had like that whip thing, right? So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm just like, and I want to know like, what's the Imperial Guard story? Obviously it's like a rip off of the Emperor's Imperial Guards, but
Yeah.
how do they get chosen? Are they like stormtroopers or
You got to
are they
read the
force
comic
sensitive?
series for one of the 100 books
Oh,
that were
God.
written.
Yeah,
that they now
They're no longer. They're no
they're no longer in continuity.
So mad.
I know, buddy.
That was
Hugs.
like my teenage years with Star Wars expanded
And it's
universe.
all, yeah.
There was a funny meme where it showed like Palpatine talking to Anakin Skywalker. Like, have you ever heard the legend of Star Wars Legends? They used to be canon, but now they're not. And Anakin goes like, "Is it possible to learn of these stories?" And he turns to Anakin slowly, he's like, "Not from a Disney executive." So
That's pretty fucking good.
yeah, so it really lets you know how good Revenge of the Sith is. Like that movie's aged really well.
I love
just in
Revenge of
terms
the
of
Sith.
story. Like just after the sequel comes out, the sequel trilogies come out. Like even though like George Lucas it's like there's a lot of hooky scenes in it, but the storytelling is so much better, and the plotting is so much better than the sequel trilogy.
Well, that's what I love about Bad Batch here. There's a right way to do fan service, and there's a wrong way to do fan service.
Yeah.
And when you like in conversation tie something in, or like if you put this little Easter egg off to the side, that's the way to do it. And they do it really well in the Bad Batch. What I hated was in the first, prequels, how it's like, oh, you remember C-3PO? Well, he's back, and he was created by Anakin. Why?
Why don't they make it Chewbacca?
Well, it's not like
it does. No, it messes up a lot.
Do Vader and C-3PO actually come face to face in the
I
original
think,
trilogy?
Yeah.
I don't.
No.
Well, no, it's like
no.
I think like Vader almost sees them before they get off the ship in the first movie, but I don't think they ever come face to face.
I mean, Chewbacca
was
is
kind of
carrying
random.
him when they're running away.
Oh, okay.
Well,
he was covered in gold. Maybe I didn't recognize him. And there were other.
Why would
C3
Han Solo
units.
say he doesn't believe in the Force when Chewbacca worked like alongside Yoda, like in the Clone Wars?
Yeah.
Like that. Like they did fan service wrong. Matt, you are 100% right. I never thought about it like that. Like I thought those were like just cool scenes, and they added it in. I didn't think about like no, they're paying homage like the original trilogy. And you're right. Like they just kind of pigeonholed a bunch of stuff that didn't make any sense.
Yeah, because look at Rogue One. Red 7 is killed flying in that mission, and that's why Luke Skywalker is Red 7 in A New Hope. Stuff like that is awesome.
Yeah, like the small stuff.
Yeah,
isn't Patty Jenkins doing the new Rogue Squadron movie?
No, she lost that after the backlash.
Really?
From Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know she lost that.
Yeah, she got Dan and Dave. D&D.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. From what I thought, she was like she's doing that right after. But
hey, Tip.
I know that. I'm guessing that's gonna be like Wedge is gonna be like the main character.
Is there a Force ghost? Has Tip joined us?
a presence I have not felt since last week.
I will
3
say
minutes last week.
Expanded universe. Rogue
For a
Squadron
second,
was
yeah.
the best books.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess like Wedge was like the only guy to survive like both the first
Wait.
battle against the Death Star and the second one. So,
Matt,
only
have you
guys
read
that-
the new stuff?
I haven't
The
read the new
Legend?
stuff yet. No.
Oh, damn it. All right. I'm trying to find someone so they can tell me what it's about.
yeah. So I'm sure they're gonna go with that. But I'm glad Patty Jenkins isn't doing that movie anymore because Wonder Woman 84 really showed how she does not know how storytelling works.
And you know what? She said she just wanted to make the coolest dogfight like movie ever. So maybe you'll need storytelling. However, the action scenes were so bad in Wonder Woman that I don't think she could get a dogfight scene right either.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure like Disney would just come in and be like, we're just gonna let you put your name on it, but we're gonna take care of the actual stuff that we need a director for.
If you could make a dream director, like who do you wish would direct the next Star Wars movie unlimited budget?
I don't know. I guess I don't really know what stories are out there that I would like want to see. Like, for me, like the original trilogy was it. Like that was a satisfying conclusion. I didn't really need anything after that. And like stuff like Mandalorian's okay, but I just don't really get excited about Star Wars. After
What about you, Matt?
I would like Guy Ritchie to make the Rogue Squadron.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, what's a good like Air Force movie? Like, I guess Tony Scott's dead because he directed Top Gun, but maybe the guy's directing Top Gun Maverick. Maybe he could do Rogue Squadron. Although he'd probably like, really, you want me to do a space Air Force movie after making this Air Force movie?
I've got two for you. What about Taika Waititi?
Yes.
That's probably going to happen because like Disney loves him.
Like, is that going to be like a holiday special kind of movie, or is that going to be like would you watch C-3PO and R2-D2 like a movie about them directed by Taika Waititi?
I think if he had done Solo, I think that would have been the perfect movie for him, like a kind of buddy kind of movie with Chewbacca and Han Solo. But unfortunately, we got 3 different directors and they all ruined it.
Ron Howard. No.
Oh, Ron Howard.
So
all right, how about this one? And I hesitate to say his name because I feel like I bring it up every week. And I'm like not a fanboy, but I am going through like a phase, I guess. But like, I would really love to see a Zack Snyder Star Wars movie. Like, you know,
I'm not
like, you know,
watching a
those
5-hour
scenes,
Star Wars
you know,
movie.
those scenes would be
Oh
so
my God,
beautiful.
it would be so long.
I really
but yeah,
wanted
it
to
would
see.
look good.
I really wanted to
Slow-mo.
see.
Like, yeah, can you imagine, like, you know, like there's Darth Vader and he's on Mustafar, like in his home planet, or, you know, his home base now. And then there's like just lava exploding in the background. Like, you know, that should be in slow motion. And then like the zoom, like
With a
you would
bass
see like
drop.
the red lightsaber come out. And he'd be walking like, oh my gosh, like, fuck, dude.
Oh, dude,
Like, please.
some of those
That would look
lightsaber
so
battles in
good.
slow-mo.
Yeah, dude, that would light my lightsaber up.
I really want to see Quentin Tarantino's Star Trek movie, which was like announced a few years ago. But I think that's not going through.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
That would
Like
be good.
that
What
would be
if-
cool. Like just like I mean, and have it set in the '60s or whatever.
Who did the movies? The Death Race, and
I don't know.
Machete.
That's Quentin Tarantino.
That's
No,
Quentin
that's
Tarantino?
no. Robert Rodriguez was.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, okay, well, I'm thinking
was
Quentin
Machete.
Tarantino. Oh,
But yeah, Robert Rodriguez he directed one of the episodes of Mandalorian.
Yep.
I think it was one with Boba Fett. So you know he's already sort of in that
he's
fold.
He's got Zen, and yeah, he's got.
He would have done a
Mandalorian
much
Disney.
better job with Solo, and than Ron Howard would have.
Hey,
but-
who's that quirky director? The one that makes like the
Woody
Budapest Hotel, and he made an Isle of Dogs.
Oh, Wes Anderson. Oh, God.
Wes Anderson. What about a Wes Anderson Star Wars movie?
Just
What
a
do you guys
perfectly
think that would be like?
symmetrical Star Wars movie.
Yeah, what do you think that'd be like? Well,
No.
I mean, you know, they could put it on Tatooine because it's got two
Owen
sons.
Wilson as an Imperial officer.
Wow, that's
Like
all.
it blows a Balderon. Wow. Or like I can't really. Wow.
Wow.
You're Darth Vader, man. You used to
Wow.
You want to hear something funny? I still
Oh,
have
yeah.
your lightsaber from. I can't think of it, but I love Owen Wilson. He's gonna be in Loki, which I'm looking forward to. So
Oh, he's gonna be great in Loki. Disney, you've got one more shot. Let's do this. Let's do it right. Like, I hope you're like, don't rely on Hawkeye because I'm not sure I'm gonna stick around for Hawkeye if
Death-
Loki's bad.
the Death Star plans are in the computer. Wait, they're in the computer? It's so
They're
simple.
on the line. Would you watch a Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson? I mean, this would
as
destroy
Imperial
Star Wars.
officers? Yeah,
Like,
Just
just
a
two-
Stormtrooper-
Yeah. If they were the two
a buddy
guys who were like
Stormtrooper movie.
talking about like there's no rail, like we're gonna die, like we're gonna fall off this Death Star because there's no rail. And it was just like a what are those episodes called, like when they're cheap and they're in a single room.
Porno?
Yes.
Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn in the first Star Wars porno.
Now, the problem is if we get Vince Vaughn, he's going to go more True Detective and try and ruin it than his movies.
He needs to stick to comedy.
Okay,
like
next
Psycho, Domestic Disturbance, True Detective, all bad, and he's all trying to
Horrible.
be serious.
Would
But
you
yeah, he's-
watch? Oh, Vince Vaughn could be like an excellent like Imperial officer, I think. And like Owen Wilson could be like his buddy. He's like dumb and like, but like moves up through the ranks because his best friend is like
The internship.
Yeah,
at
it's
the,
like
at the-
that,
at the Death
exactly.
Star.
But so would you rather have Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn in as a buddy cop, as a buddy pair in a Star Wars movie, or would you rather have Will Ferrell and his
God, no.
best friend, the other guy with the
No,
curly hair?
no.
Let's If you do
Or-
an Old
or-
Republic,
Hold on. There's a third option here, guys.
There's
Or
several
would you
options.
drink or would you drink a gallon of bleach?
I would drink the bleach.
God.
I did that.
Yeah.
all right, no. Instead of Imperial officers, have Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson as Jedi in the Old Republic, and just have them be the leads. And
Oh my
see what
gosh, yeah,
better buddy
this is-
Jedi movie.
It's just two guys sitting like waiting for the rest of the council members to show up, and they're just telling old stories to each other. Like, that would be fun.
Just 2 hours of that. And Ben Stiller as a Sith Lord.
It'd be a
Oh, God.
podcast at that point.
That'd be
I guess.
great.
All right,
Like,
what other duos can we come up with?
Well,
Who always works
quick
together?
point. Another reason why I love Bad Batch, and another thing about fan service, is there's a throwaway line in which Tarkin is discussing that they no longer want to use clones and they're going to do forced conscription with each planet, and that
Mhm.
kind of explains why stormtroopers in the original 3 are so bad. There's
Yeah,
forced
not-
conscription.
And
I
yeah,
love
because they're not all
clones.
clones.
Yep,
Yeah,
they're
and they're
not all
also. It also explains why Finn's not a clone of Jango Fett.
Yep,
But so is Tarkin in the Bad Batch episode 1?
yep. He's
That's
an
why I asked.
admiral.
Yeah, that's why I asked. Like, are there any big cameos? And I guess that's.
Tarkin,
counts.
Palpatine's in it.
Yeah, big cameos. Yeah.
Yep. And
All
then
right.
Guerrero pretty much are the three big ones.
They kind of like got to have like a big cameo in the first episode. Like Picard was in the first episode of Deep Space Nine, just to show like, hey.
Oh, spoiler alert! I haven't seen Deep Space Nine yet.
Well, yeah,
that
doesn't spoil a show.
30-year-old show. Yeah.
Or how Shatner is in the first Star Trek Generations movie.
Yeah, he was. Even though I think First Contact's definitely the best of the Next Generation films.
Yep.
I never saw Insurrection or Nemesis, but I heard they both sucked.
So if Star Wars was making, if they're going to make a new Star Wars movie, any time period, whatever, like, what's the one Jedi you want to see?
You know, I don't even want to see Jedi. I want to see, you have this huge universe. Like, first off, definitely Rogue Squadron I want to see done. But you can do so much with just, like, different alien races. And, you know, like, there's so much more than just Jedi.
Yuuzhan Vong.
You can,
Yeah, but, like, the outrage. If there's not a lightsaber in a Star Wars movie, like, there would be such backlash.
You do
True.
smuggling in the Corellian sector, you know?
Solo and Rogue One did neither.
Solo was so much fun.
Well, Rogue One didn't have one. Everyone seemed to love Rogue One, but not me. I think they should just make Donnie Yen's character a Jedi. I mean, they have so many like Jedi who survived after Order 66, like Ashoka, Cal Kestis, and a few others. I'm just like, just make Donnie Yen a Jedi. Don't make him like a half-ass Jedi who's Force sensitive. You know, he was old enough to like have been around during, you know, the prequels. So
they should have picked him up and when they were abducting all the 2-year-olds.
So I'm just like, just make him a Jedi. Jeez, you know, don't tiptoe around it.
Well, this is, I don't know if you've played the any of the Star Wars RPGs, and this is always what kind of ruins the RPG is that somebody always picks a character who's a Jedi, and there's just no point to it anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I kind of like, I love Jedi, it's cool, but I kind of want to see something that doesn't have Jedi in this huge, you know, like galaxy. Like, it's crazy how much canon there is to this, and yet we always come back to Jedi.
Was.
I mean, if they like just decide to erase the sequel trilogy and do like a true, well, I guess now that Carrie Fisher's dead, you know, doesn't matter. But like if they like just followed the was it Heir to the Empire series, like I'd be interested in that.
That'd be cool. You know, they have the ability. There's time travel in the Clone Wars.
And just have the Yuuzhan
worlds or whatever.
They'll just do like Star Trek, just like have them like go through a time paradox or whatever. So basically, like the show's no longer canon. That's what Spock say that in the movie. It's like, so our destinies have been changed irreparably.
Yep.
So,
but I mean, like the Mandalorian's starting to touch on it. But I love the story behind Admiral Thrawn. Like, there's
I think he's going to show up in the Ashoka show.
Yeah,
I don't think which I think is
I would love to see where Thrawn went with the guy whose name starts with E. From not the Clone Wars, but the Rebels, Star Wars Rebels.
Oh God, what was his name?
Aaron Bridger.
Oh yes, Aaron Bridger. Was that no?
There was.
Well, I think he's going to show up in Ashoka anyway. So,
but there was also a one of the expanded universe. There was a series in which they had a star killer, like it's a little ship that would fly into a star and explode it, and they had to like capture that and get rid of it because it was too powerful, like something like that. Like, you don't need Jedi, you know. You have, you know, get some like a Bad Batch unit, get some special forces.
Well, get the Yuuzhan Vong in there because they're like from outside the galaxy and they're immune to the Force.
It's veiled racism though. The use of
yeah, because it's like the Yellow Peril.
Yep,
I guess people like
came out right after 2001, after, you know, certain events happened in New York, and they're obviously, you know, is
wow.
I mean, I like the idea of like there is like aliens outside the galaxy.
No, I do.
You know, but I do see like how people like online be like, this is. I mean, just don't make him like appear Asian like
Ezra Bridger. There we go, Ezra Bridger.
Because the Klingons are basically like the Mongols, right? You know, in Star Trek universe. I mean, just don't make them as, you know,
like make them cool. Don't be racist.
Yeah,
just have them just be like an alien race like any other.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, people would say like Vong. That sort of sounds like Tong. This is a thinly veiled allegory for Yellow Peril. Cancel.
That whole series was frustrating because it's like 22 books long, and by book 16, you're so invested in it, and you're like, "How does this end? How does this end? How does this end?" And then
so like Wheel of Time
ends. Yeah, you're like, "Oh, we don't have to tie it up." So there's this rogue planet, and here you go.
Yeah,
none of it makes sense.
I mean, just would be cool, like, because like they have like the, what do you call them? The they don't have lightsabers, but they have like these snakes
Mhm.
They're sort of like staffs that can, be spears or, weapons.
And I like the whole idea how they're not part of the Force as well.
Yeah, so they're like immune to like,
Yep.
being like controlled mentally or moved around. And
All right, I have to stop you guys. You guys are going like we're talking about a series here that is on the verge of collapse from its fan base. Like the last two movies have been so divisive.
well, these are all been the Yuzhan Vong been deemed non-canon. I mean, I'm sure they'll show up eventually in some super form.
Right, but like
Just
Matt's
'cause they're
talking about a
they're
movie
running
here
out of ideas.
without the Force, without lightsabers. Like that's not a Star Wars movie.
Well, they're
first
fighting
off-
these things that don't
Yeah,
have
pretty
lightsabers.
much.
They're
I
just
would
a
have to
different.
agree with Major.
They're just a villain that doesn't. It isn't like a Sith Lord. It's just like it just freshens it up.
Like if Disney goes broke and like needs to
That's
like
never gonna
sell some planets, right? Like hey, like Netflix, you want to like write a show about a planet that doesn't matter. You can't use like any of the main characters. It's like a CW show. You can't use any of the main characters. You can't use any like the main storylines. But like you can be quote unquote in our universe, and you can pay us like a licensing fee or whatever. Like that's what it sounds like. Like that's not a Star Wars movie. Like that's just a movie in space.
Well, I
Well,
think
you're still gonna have Jedi. Just have
Thank
them
you,
fight,
Major.
Just have them
That's
fight
it.
the Yuzhan
We
Vong
need
instead
to-
of like a guy with a red lightsaber.
I think the first thing Disney needs to focus on if they make more Star Wars movies is not falling into the trilogy trap.
Yeah, make one-offs.
One
Make
off.
side. Yeah,
That's what Rogue One was.
Even two, where like we kind of tie it up in the second, but you can't focus on the trilogies. That's kind of what killed the last three is because they're like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, tie
they
this all
need to
together.
plan.
Because like
They
A
maybe
New
need to
Hope-
plan the trilogy out first.
Yeah, A New Hope is a complete movie. It's like even though Darth Vader survives at the end, like that it has a beginning, middle, and end. It doesn't like I mean, Empire Strikes Back has a cliffhanger, but that's because they knew it was going to be successful.
Yeah.
But the first Jedi is a complete movie. You can't say that about Force Awakens
No.
or even maybe Phantom Menace.
And a Force Awakens is just a rehash of A New Hope. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's literally just like shot for shot almost. I was gonna say like it's not an homage, it's a blatant copy.
It's like they basically
the Joker of Taxi.
but it's
God.
different because they renamed Tatooine. It's not Tatooine's a different desert planet. It's not the Death Star. It's a different.
it's Starkiller
ball of
base,
death.
and they
It's
blow up the
not-
whole
It's
system.
not the Emperor. It's,
But the main character
Grand-
is OP. There's no arc. She's so good at the very beginning. Like
Yeah.
there's like that's what pissed me off the most. Like so.
That's
I'm
just
not.
slovenly
I'll
shit.
talk. We could talk about this for like the next 10 hours. Like just the highs
Yeah, I
and the
think-
lows of like the last trilogy. And I really like.
mostly lows.
We definitely should. But like Ray is so fucking OP. Like from the very beginning, she doesn't need like any training. And then so like who are Ray's parents, right? Like, all right, if you explain to me like Ray's parents are these super powerful people in the Force, then I'll accept that. And they're
Well,
like,
they were.
they're nobody. And I'm like, nobody had she didn't have any parents. Like she's not fucking Luke Skywalker's daughter or Obi-Wan Kenobi or whatever, these legendary characters. Why is she so powerful? Why is she so good? There's no arc to it. I'm gonna stop. But
She was Palpatine's granddaughter.
Yeah, it
because
was
that's how they sort of-
Palpatine.
yeah, but they don't explain that to the
That was
ninth
sort of their-
movie. So
Yeah,
I
they were
spent
just like-
3 years pissed off because thinking like her parents were
Yeah.
like, coming up with theories, which is on me. I'm not walking into the movie theater. Like, I'm not gonna be pissed off if I'm wrong because I probably came up with this idea in the shower, and these guys are professional like movie writers. Sometimes my ideas are better. They're usually not.
Well,
But like,
there's-
I'm not gonna be upset because my theory didn't work out.
That did really bug me too. I know what you mean.
Yeah. Well,
But like, it
basically,
was such a
Rise,
bad answer.
Yeah. Well, Rise of Rise of Skywalker, whatever. It was like basically like ripped off Return of the Jedi too, because like Kylo Ren redeems himself, has Palpatine in it. Like your friends are about to die, but they're fighting. It's just God, so bad.
Well,
The better
so-
effects.
So my kind of final thought, just kind of start wrapping this up.
Yeah.
Bad Batch is awesome, and what I love about it so much is all the nods to fans, where you have these discussions and you're tying all this stuff together. And I think it's really well done. I watched it with my son; he's really into it, so it's good for kids and
Awesome.
adults.
Good.
So loved it. It was great. Like I said, though, my theory is Omega is definitely going to be a Force sensitive clone. Palpatine gets his hands on her, and that's how we explain the plot hole in Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
I would
They
rather
shouldn't
do
even
this in Bad
acknowledge
Batch
those
than
movies, but
yeah, I'd rather do that in Bad Batch than like they hinted at cloning in like Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah.
And I would just like I'd rather than like, don't ruin that show with cloning. Like if you're gonna explain it, go explain it in Clone Wars.
is Dave Filoni producing it?
I would imagine so.
Good. So
I'd imagine Catherine Kennedy's probably attached to the project still.
yeah. Oh yeah, she just has to. But I don't know, that's really all I have. I guess I would say overall, Jupiter's Legacy is adequate, but I don't know. We'll have to finish it. We'll see if it gets
Tune in next week.
Really good.
To find out how we feel about
I'll
Jupiter's
probably finish
Legacy.
it. I'll probably finish it this week or maybe later today. But I don't know. It's keeping me intrigued enough for everyone. Like, it's not like Iron Fist, where I'm just like each episode's a chore to get through. Like I am intrigued.
Well, that's good.
Look out for a possible live tweet later on this week if I get enraged.
Absolutely,
Okay.
please do. And you can follow us on Twitter at Zealot Zealot Podcast. If you want to follow us on Twitter, Zealot Podcast.
Yeah, I'm thinking like they're not even going to wrap it up this season because like I'm in episode 6 right now, and they're still don't have their power. They're still doing the flashbacks to how they got their powers. So I'm thinking
they're moving a little slow.
They're setting up for season 2. Yes, I mean I don't see they're going to.
I think it got approved for 3 seasons off the bat. So
that's always what Netflix does. They always do like 3 seasons and like they can it. And if it's like really successful, maybe 4.
3 seasons. What about a 4th season of Stranger Things? I didn't see that coming. I'm glad that like they got a 4th season.
Well, yeah, they announced it a long time ago, and like the teaser with Hopper came out like in 2020 or early 2020 or late 2019. So we knew he's alive. It's just the pandemic, obviously.
Yeah, put everything back.
But did you all see the new trailer I sent y'all? It's like basically like it's an
gonna
origin
place in the past.
It's an origin story for 11. It was like, wasn't season 1 her origin story?
Right.
But it's the origin of her origin. So I guess we're just gonna see more of the flashbacks with Brenner. Maybe like I guess we're gonna see the Indian chick who everyone hated for some reason in season 2.
I was gonna say like as long as she doesn't like go off to like another town and hang out with some townies for a day, like I'll be fine.
I mean, I just think they need
that episode.
It didn't bother me as much. I thought it was like a nice little respite from the main story. I don't mind bottleneck episodes if they're done well. And sometimes like bottleneck episodes can be like, or not bottleneck, but like standalone episodes are some like the best in the series. Like there's one episode of The Sopranos where like he takes his daughter to college and he just happens to run into like an old guy who testified against the mob and has nothing to do with the main story of the season. And it's like probably the best episode of the whole series. So
yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. I can't remember what that term's called.
Hey, Major, that episode actually is an homage to a comic book from the 90s called The Invisibles, which is the precursor to The Matrix.
Yeah.
Oh, and they're just called bottle episodes.
I thought Tron was a precursor to The Matrix.
Yeah, also Neuromancer. There's a bunch of influence, but Invisibles and Neuromancer are kind of like the...
I think I started reading that. It was too weird for me.
I thought
Neuromancer's
was
horrible.
Precursor.
Yeah, I think eventually they'll do like a adaptation. And it's sort of like the guy who wrote it. Like he basically came up with the cyberpunk genre, more or less.
Yeah.
So, but basically every cyberpunk movie like is because of Neuromancer. So I mean, it's important, but it's not. The story itself is not good.
Yeah, it's no.
So, all right. Well, that's basically all I have. Any final thoughts? Any predictions? No,
I have a final thought on Star Wars. I'm 45 minutes into it, and
classic
my thought was that I'm not finished with it, and I haven't watched Jupiter's Legacy.
Always comes in 2/3 of the episode. I love it. Gives a very fresh perspective.
Last time.
I was out pulling weeds in my garden.
Is that what they're calling it?
I was literally pulling weeds.
Garden or weeds? So does that mean he was pulling Klingons out of his dog's butt? Is that what that's code for? Weeds from the garden? Bad joke. Okay. So what do you think of the Star Wars today?
Okay, so my thoughts were, I wonder what the third order is after Order 66.
Like Order 67? Like Emperor Palpatine had a bunch of different like exit strategies in place.
It's a joke, Major. What is the third order?
Oh, 69. Yeah, hilarious.
Yeah.
I was like, wait.
Order 69.
It's like,
all
I know,
clones.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, that's a good joke. That's good, dude.
Clone orgy.
Oh, God.
All right, if I'm hearing 69 right now, all I'm thinking about is Doge. Dogecoin. So yeah,
I was going to say before we leave, we should make little predictions about it. I mean, kind of a big thing with SNL and everything today.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be huge with Elon
I got it.
Musk.
It's kind of scary how like volatile it is. Like I got it on a live graph on my other monitor here.
Nice,
dude.
Yeah,
it dropped 7. It dropped 7 cents in 3 minutes at one point.
Yep,
it's kind of holding a little bit.
Day trading.
I'll tell you right now. Yes,
I
fast.
haven't
like
been
be one of the first ones out.
I'm just trying to figure out when when I should do something with it.
12:29. Everyone's gonna wait like for Elon Musk to say something about Doge, and then they're gonna like expect the price to go up, and they're gonna sell it. To avoid that pitfall, just fucking sell it before SNL even starts.
Do you think Bill Gates'
Take the money to
divorce?
get home.
Think Bill Gates' divorce had any effect on the market at all? Do you think Microsoft
So
shares
they
were-
had legal, also like because like the legal filings, everyone got to see what Bill and Melinda Gates were investing in. So those shares probably saw a boost.
Okay,
but
I
they
know
were also, like, a
Microsoft.
lot of
I know
Berkshire.
Microsoft's going to drop. I mean, I don't know why it would.
Or
But
Berkshire.
maybe just because like he was in a pissy mood. He was like he lost a lot of his money, so he might do something stupid. So, but I don't know. Same thing with Amazon. I think Amazon did fine after his divorce.
I would say, if
wonder-
anything, Bill's going to have more time to work on the program or work on the company. You know,
Work on
calls.
a better Xbox. I don't know. I'm sure Xbox is fine. Maybe like hammer down on 343 to get them to release Halo Infinite on time. Because like basically they had no launch games for when that console came out.
Oh, I forgot they had a new console out. That's how fucking bad that launch was.
Because Halo wasn't out, so no one wanted to buy it. I mean, I'm sure some people did, but a lot of people did. But it's just like you really have like because like PS5 had Spider-Man, it had like a few others. So at least they had like games to play once it came out. Games people wanted to play, but Halo Infinite wasn't out, so it was like Xbox One came out. I was like, who cares?
Right. Not me.
You know,
So-
Bill Gates could work on a male supplement nutrition company called Micro Hard.
There we go.
Or,
Yeah, did you see that? You see that epic rap battle between Steve Jobs and Bill Gates? And it was like, why'd you name your company after your dick?
ooh,
I
So
like those.
That's
yeah,
some good shit.
I haven't watched them in a
Me
long
too.
time, but
Yeah, me neither.
Have they made any new ones recently?
Probably they made them like because they're like one of the most popular channels on YouTube. I just haven't kept up. I think the last one I saw was like Stalin versus Rasputin, and then Lenin comes in, then Gorbachev, and then finally Putin.
The Obama Mitt Romney one's probably one of my favorites.
Oh, I don't.
Oh, their
that.
last
Abraham
epic rap
Lincoln-
battle was 5
Abraham
months
Lincoln
ago.
comes in. Oh, nice. Yeah, that makes sense. Like if they come back, it'd be during the pandemic to make more
They,
content.
they probably did Clinton and Trump.
Which was Harry Potter versus Luke Skywalker, and they're like
They did
Legos.
Gandalf. They did Gandalf versus Dumbledore. So there were a lot of gay jokes.
Oh, who would win in a fight, Gandalf or Yoda?
I think Gandalf would offer Yoda some weed, and like Yoda would just be like, just have like get high. He's like on the off the weed, or not the weed,
Yoda-
whatever
no, Yoda-
Gandalf smokes.
Yoda would jump up in the air, do a bunch of spinny flips like he did in Revenge of the Sith, and then a golden eagle would just come down and swoop him away and kill him.
Gandalf is almost a god. He fought the Balrogs.
He's basically a demigod. Oh yeah, speaking of which, what do y'all think of the upcoming Lord of the Rings show?
100 million
Age.
episode or
It's gonna
something
be
like
like
that. That's
yeah,
incredible.
basically, it's gonna be like the most expensive
That's like the price of the
television
movies.
series. It's gonna be more than Game of Thrones. So like Amazon is really expecting this to be their Game of Thrones.
But like we all still remember Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit wasn't that long ago. Like, why are they pouring all this money into?
just because it's a
IP.
well-known property and they know
Yeah.
it'll make people watch it.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
gonna be
like, no
kinda
one's
cool.
watching
I
The
mean,
Expanse, and The Expanse is incredible. You're
Yeah,
absolutely
because
right.
it's basically it's gonna tell like how Sauron came to power, how he forged the rings, the founding of Gondor, how the island of Numenor.
Oh, well, that sounds
sort of
awesome. I thought they were
destroyed.
turning the Lord of the Rings movies into TV shows. I thought they were
Yeah.
redoing Lord of the
It's
Rings.
actually gonna
But
like
if
show
it's in the universe.
Sauron. It's gonna show
So it's like
Sauron
the
as an
Silmarillion.
actual- Yeah, it's gonna show him as an actual character because like he basically like was like he got kidnapped by the Numenorians and then like eventually he was like a prisoner. They became like the advisor to the king, and he basically just told the king, "Hey, we should start sacrificing people to Morgoth." So like there's like these mass executions on this island, and he's like, "Hey, you should go invade the Holy Lands or whatever the gods live." And the gods were just like, "Fuck that," and they just destroy Numenor. So it's gonna be
wow.
pretty epic. So.
I didn't know we had a resident Lord of the Rings expert in our podcast.
I just watched a lot of YouTube videos. I haven't read it because I think he covers it in Silmarillion briefly, but they basically just had their work cut out for it. They just had the cliff notes.
Do
They
you
don't
watch
really
Indie Geek?
No.
Oh, he's excellent. I would look him up, Indie Geek, on YouTube.
But there's they have a lot of freedom to like add characters and but I think those are the plot points they have to like cover at least in the Second Age, like the forging of the rings, the drowning of Numenor, and the founding of Gondor. I think those.
Well, yeah.
three
Did you
things.
hear how much they had to pay for the licensing? Like, it's like it's like almost like 40% of the budget.
And they
Like,
still
about
don't have the
600
rights
million.
to the first age. They only have the rights to the Second Age, I think.
Right. So, like, yeah, I would.
They can
I would
still do
use
they can
all
still
the
do
lore I
Silmarillion.
could.
But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I think they also released like photos for the new Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon.
I didn't even care enough to click on the headline of the article.
I'm just like, wow.
Thank you. Yeah,
because I think they greenlit HBO greenlit another prequel series that got canceled.
Yeah,
so I think
they
people are just Game of
greenlit 5
Thrones
of them.
out. So, but
would you watch season 8 if they came out and they like did season 8 over again? Would you?
Well, he's got to finish the books, and I have a strong feeling they probably will adapt those in some way after he eventually finishes them.
No, the book is going to come out after he's dead, and it's going to be half finished. Yeah.
Well,
and Brandon Sanderson's going to finish it.
Yeah, like he did for Wheel of Time. So, same thing for Patrick Rothfuss because he hasn't finished the 3rd King Killer book.
He's never going to finish that.
Yeah, he's like basically just living off his laurels of the first 2, and he's basically just like going to every single convention, doing all these interviews, and like he's like working on the adaptation for Showtime, I think, instead of like actually finishing his story. And if you actually read it, like there's way too much for him to wrap up that he's not gonna be able to finish in the 3rd book. And he's basically said like the trilogy is just gonna be a prequel to the actual story. I'm just like,
we all know Adult Kavoth is actually lying, and none of this really happened. That's how he's.
That'd be a great twist. Like he's just making it all up, but I don't think that's the case. But we still don't know how he's. First of all, he hasn't even killed a king yet, so we don't even know why it's called that. We don't know. He hasn't like met any of the Chandrian after they killed his parents. He sort of saw Cinder again, but just from far away. So there's like 7 other Chandrian he's got to beat. We don't know how he gets expelled from the university. There's like literally like 30 years of stuff we don't know about. So this is it's take 3 days to tell us. So I don't know. But yeah, I think we're way over time, so I might have to cut a lot of meat off. But this has been our show. I'm Forrest.
Let me give a plug to all of our social media. You can follow us on Twitter at Zealot Podcast on Twitter, or you can email us directly at zealotzeitgeist@gmail.com. zealotzeitgeistpodcast@gmail.com. I'm Major. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Who else is here? There's Robbie.
Matt.
Tip is also here.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening.
See ya. Yep.
See ya.